Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of DIY Travels, that is, do it yourself. We will always be here to guide you through all immigration services and how to fill all countries form. In case you are planning to travel out of the country, in case you are planning to japa out of the country, we have the necessary tools to guide you with, we have the necessary materials to guide you with. We are here to guide you on how to do it yourself, how to fill the form and the necessary documents to assist you with your visa application. And for today we'll be looking at Canada, precisely Canada study permit. Precisely, we'll be taking a look at how to fill a Canada visa form for study permit. So maybe other time we have to talk about the tourist form and the one for the work permit, but today we'll be taking a look at the study form, how to fill the Canadian study form. I would like to notify you that there is basically two websites which you can use to access the Canada visa portal. We have one which is we have the CIC, we have the IRCC. Basically they are both the same thing, but they have more advantage. One has more advantage than the other. The first one, let me quickly show you. We have this, which is the latest. This is actually the latest. So let me start from the former one. This is the former one. We have the sign it to IRCC account. This is basically what it looks like. So when you access the previous portal, this is basically what it looks like. You can see the option 1, GC key, option 2, sign in partner. Then if you don't have an account, you register. So you can either register with GC key or you register with sign in partner if you have online Canadian banking information, stuff like that. But for fresh applicants, you can go ahead with this GC key. It is very easy. But for sign in partner, you need to have banking information with those people Canadian embassy has partnered with. So but basically you can sign in with this GC key and register also. Now the advantage of this is you can fill the PDF form and upload later. That is, you get the PDF form which you can fill, the fillable one, you can fill it, then you can upload the form that you filled. Then you have to validate the form before uploading. Then you have a lot of informations to upload. Then the size of the file limit is, I think, 4 megabytes. Yeah, I think 4 megabytes. So you can compress your file to 4 megabytes, each file to 4 megabytes. Then you have a place whereby you can upload your passport data page, digital photo, then supporting documents like accounts. Then we have additional family form. Once you register, you can sign in with this GC key or create account with this GC key. Then we have the latest one, which is this is the IRCC portal. The difference is this: instead of you uploading different forms, you can easily fill in online. That is, you don't have to fill any PDF form and upload. All the details in the PDF form has been compressed to this to this portal here. So you can just fill it and then click next, fill particular details, click next, fill another one, click next. So it is very easy here. Then at the end of the day, the information, the question you have answered so far will determine the requirements. The information you have provided so far will determine the kind of documents they will ask from you. And basically, if you are applying for a tourist visit, the numbers of documents they will be asking is very limited. Probably you just have to provide 2 to 3 documents. That's the fact. You just have to provide 2 to 3 documents. And if you are applying for a study permit also, basically the maximum probably 4. But in regards to the previous form, you have to provide lots of documents, your previous traveling history, you have to provide. Then now when it comes to this form, you will have to compress all your files to 2 megabytes. All your files you have to you need to get ready for that. You need to compress all your files to 2 megabytes. So you can use either of the two, but people have been complaining online that when they use this, most people get fast result. Then the previous one, most people get fast result also, but then we can't really say which one is the fastest, because I've tried both. I've used the previous ones, I've used the latest, so I've tried both. But we can only say that just use the one you feel that okay, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with it. Not as if the latest form you get a fast response. No, no, that's not it. It's actually different. You may decided to use the previous one and you get a faster response, and you may decided to use the new one and get a faster response. We can't really say that okay, this is the fastest, because both portals belong to them, and I think this is more of the updated version. So people are using this now. But if you have like a lot of documents, I would advise you to use the previous one. If you have a lot of documents, I will advise you to use the previous one, because this you have to compress all your files to 2 megabytes, which might not be okay to some people. But then if you actually have limited documents to submit and you have a lot of information, I think this is okay for you. I'm referring to the ICC portal. So now I will go with the PDF format. I will go with this for now. I will use this to guide you through on how to fill your own Canadian study permit, how to fill the form. So I will be starting with this. So let me take you to the PDF form. So this is what the PDF form looks like. That is for the previous application. This is basically what it looks like. As you can see here, we have the application for study permit made outside of Canada. This is basically what it looks like, and it's called, there is a particular name for the form in case you want to download. It's called IMM1294E. that is for the students. It is very different. We have a different form for our tourist application. This is basically for study permit, and it is made outside of Canada, so it is not for people inside Canada. So it is actually for people that are living outside Canada, and it is called IMM1294E. IMM1294E, in case you want to download and check it out. So now let's start with the form. Right here we have one UCI. So what does it stand for? UCI stand for unique client identification. Unique client identification, and this is a kind of code given to you whenever you have filed a previous application. You might not have it now. If you are just filing a new application, you won't have the code. You won't have it. This unique client identification, you won't have it. So but for people that have submitted previous application and has been either granted or denied, you can find this UCI on the documents given to you by Canadian Embassy or by Canada, by the immigration services. You will get it there. The UCI number is always there. On every document you get the UCI there. It's always there. Like that is a kind of means of identification, your own personal means of identification. So you can find it either on your study or work permit or previous application that you've submitted. You can find it there. So if you have a previous application submitted, it is important for you to put the number here, though it is not highly important. It is not highly important, but then it makes it easy for them to like track your previous application and combine your previous application with the new one. So that is the essence. Then if you've been granted a visa, they will request for it. So in order to link it to your previous visa. So if you have this, you need to, if you submitted an application, probably it was granted or denied, you need to put this number there. But then if you don't, let's continue. Now you go to number 2. I want service in English. You can choose French if that is the language you speak, or if that is the language you understand, but for this purpose we are going with English. Then to personal details, we have full name, family name as shown on your passport, which means whenever you are trying to fill this form, you need to have your passport handy. Now you need to have your passport handy. You need to make sure that you have every necessary document handy before filling this form, because it will get to a stage whereby you need to provide some means of identification and some documents. So if you don't have them handy, you will need to pause and continue later. But I suggest that you have those documents handy before filling this form. So then we have the family name. So you check your international passport, the family name you have on it. For this sake, I'm going to use a female details. So let's say we have Thomas. That's the family name, the husband's name precisely, Thomas Elizabeth Ajoke. I just wanted to use something like that, Ajoke. We have an the number 2. We have you used any other name, e.g. nickname, maiden name, alias, etc. So now this question is very very tricky, and most people don't attend to it. I don't know why, but most people don't attend to it, probably because of the fact that it wasn't asterisk. But then I've seen a lot of form, most people just neglect it and or probably pick no. But if you are married, and or probably you've been in a previous relationship, it is important for you to fill this part, even if you are a widow. But for the sake of this tutorial, we are actually looking at this for someone trying to get a study permit. So let me be precise here. So if you're actually married, you need to fill this section, because your husband's name will be different from your father's name. So they're requesting for your nickname, maiden's name. They know what they are doing, so you just don't have to omit this. It might not be important when it comes to nickname or alias, or also known as previous name you've used, but when it comes to your marital status, because it is very important. There might be issue with your passport at the end of the day, like you trying to file for the affidavit at the end of the day that okay, my father's name is different from my husband's name, stuff like that. You know the name on your, what's it called, your certificate will be different from the name you have now. So it is very important for you not to neglect this section. So we have family name, then this should be like your father's name, your previous name, the names you've been using. So let's say your father's name is William, so you need to make sure that you fill this part, Williams, then the same name, Elizabeth, Ajoke, or you can just put any other name you've bear so far. Have you used any other name, e.g. nickname? So this should be yes. Then, but if you are not married, you can just click no. Then sex, since I'm using a female. Date of birth, let's go with 1982 6/28. Place of birth, check your passport for this. Lagos. Country or territory, Nigeria. Citizenship, Nigeria also. If yours is different, don't forget to put your citizenship there if you are not a citizen of Nigeria. Then current country or territory of residence, this actually is also important, because for example your citizenship might be from Nigeria and you are currently in South Africa or UK or Russia or Ukraine, anywhere. So don't forget to choose a perfect answer for this part. Current country or territory of residence, so if you are still in Nigeria, you can go with Nigeria. So status, if you're actually selecting a different country, your status will be different. So if you are from Nigeria and you are currently in, let's say, South Africa for example, or let's say UK for example, if you are from Nigeria and you are currently in UK, so you need to give them the purpose of why you are in UK. Are you a permanent resident? Are you a visitor? Are you a worker, student, or other? So you need to pick the particular status that applies to you. So for this purpose, she's a citizen of Nigeria. So this place will be automatically blow out the moment you pick citizen. But then if you are picking any other thing, let's say worker, it will be open from, that is from how long have you been working from till when. So let's just go back with to citizen. Then previous countries or territories of residence. Note, during the past 5 years, have you lived in any country or territory other than your country? And there is a particular point there, for more than 6 months. Okay, let me read it fully. During the past 5 years, have you lived in any country or territory other than your country of citizenship or your current country or territory of residence indicated above? That is the one you stated here, for more than 6 months. So if you have lived outside Nigeria for more than 6 months, you need to put it here. But if you haven't, just go with no. So if you are picking yes, you need to fill the details here. You need to fill this country, the status, then date from to. Probably you went to study in UK for the period of 6 months or above, you need to put it there. Or you went to Canada, or you went to, let's say, US for more than 6 months, probably to study, you need to put it here, or to work, you need to put it here. But for this purpose, we are selecting no. So we move ahead to country authority where applying, same as country. This is most time, this is always same, but then if you are out of the country, you need to click no. Then so you need to, if you are clicking no here, you need to repeat the previous information you've imputed. So for this sake, it is the same. This is actually good for a Nigerian citizen and someone that is actually in Nigeria. So you are a citizen of Nigeria, and you are currently in Nigeria. This form is perfectly okay for you. So the way I'm filling it is exactly the way you need to fill your form. But then if you are from Nigeria but you are living in another country, you need to make sure that you fill your previous country or country authority where applying form if it is not the same as Nigeria. So then your current marital status, we have divorced, married, separated, single, but for this sake I'm selecting married for Mrs. Thomas. So then if you are married or in a common law relationship, provide the date on which you were married or entered into the common law relationship. In order to fill this part, you need to be with your marriage certificate or your marriage document, because the information you'll be putting here needs to tally with the information on the certificate. So it is very important for you that you have a marriage certificate to back this part up. So for this sake, I'm going with the date. Let's say I'm selecting, let's go with 2014. Let's go with 2014 of February, a Saturday in February. It could be Friday, it could be any day. Just check your marriage certificate. So let's say February 15, 2014. Then the husband's name. We have Thomas. Let's say Thomas Johnson and Gabriel. It's not mandatory that you have a middle name and first name. You can have last name and middle name. Just make sure that you are filling the form according to the details you have on the marriage cert. It is very important. Just make sure that you are filling this information based on what you have on the marriage cert. So let's continue. We have all these personal details. They continue personal details. Have you previously been married or in a common law relationship? If yes, you need to pick yes. If you have been previously married to someone else, if no, then we are selecting no for this purpose. Now you need to note there is something here. Applicant name Thomas E. That is the first name, the last name and the first name. The first name has been shortened, which is E for Elizabeth. Then at this part you can see your date of birth, so you can easily confirm if your details are accurate from here. This is 1982 6/28. So the more you scroll down to the form, you see it. This is it here. So the more you scroll down, you can confirm. So it will be very easy for you to just go back to the form and make amend. So we have, let's go to language. We have native language or mother tongue. So here you need to select your native language and mother tongue. So if they have lot of languages here, so I can assure you that your language will be there. We have Igbo. I've seen Igbo before. We have Igbo. This is Igbo. We have Yoruba. I've seen Yoruba there too. We have Yoruba. We have Hausa. We have basically all languages, so you just select the right one. So I'm going with Yoruba for Mrs. Thomas. I'm going with Yoruba. Then are you able to communicate in English and or French? If yes, you can pick both. If just one language, then pick anyone. English. I'm going with English for Mrs. Thomas here. So have you taken a test from a designated testing agency to assess your proficiency in English or French? If yes, if you have done that, though, now let me explain something here. This part, it is not mandatory. So because we have some schools that doesn't require English proficiency test, yes, in fact, basically most of the schools that I personally love to apply to, I make sure that they don't require this. I make sure that they don't require this because of the stress. We have people that doesn't have the money and the time. Them also, that is not even the fact. I personally, I feel like, why should you have to go for external English proficiency test when basically all your day you've been speaking English? Even though if it is not that accurate, English has been the medium of communication in Nigeria, in this country. But if English hasn't been the medium of communication in your school or in your country, I think you need to go for this test. But in Nigeria, English is the official language, so you can easily submit some like English proficiency certificate to just go with this. But then if you haven't taken the test, you can just go with no, I haven't, it's not that important. Then we move to the passport number. Check your passport and fill in the details. Let me use A10000001. Just confirm that you are putting the right passport number. Then country or territory of issue, Nigeria. Note, some people are from Nigeria, but the details on their passport might shows the state where they renewed the passport or the country where they renew the passport. You can have an international passport, a Nigerian international passport that was issued in probably UK or US. Note, it is still the same. This should be Nigeria. They are not referring to where the passport was issued. That is, they are referring to the country where the passport belongs to. So because the moment you feel another country here, you discover that when you try to submit this form, you start getting questions like your country of territory is different from your country of residence, stuff like that. You start having issue. Then you need to go back to this form. So for the sake, just put Nigeria here. If the color of the passport you have with you is grey and it is from Nigeria, just put Nigeria here. Yes, I know it was issued in UK, but it belongs to Nigeria. I don't know if you are getting my point. So don't worry, you get to find out when you try to submit this form. The moment you try to submit this form and you have UK here, you start having issues. Like they will start telling you that your country of territory is different from your country of issue, blah blah blah. So you need to go back and adjust the form. And do you get? So just go with Nigeria if you know you are just from Nigeria. But if you are not from Nigeria or you are from any other country, just put your country of territory there or the country that issued the passport. Do you get? So if there is anything other thing you don't understand, you can just put your questions in the comment section. Then issue date, I'm going with 2020. Let me go with December 2020. Let me go with 27. Then if it's 5 years, then it's going to be, no, this is actually 2021. 2020, so I'm going with 2020. So for 5 years is going to be 2025. So 2025 December minus is always -1, so 26. So question 5 and 6 has been blurred out already, because why downloading this form, okay, there are still some things I need to like let you know. There are some questions you have to fill before getting this form. So it is the question that will determine the kind of form they are given to you. But for this purpose, this part has been blurred out. That is question number 5 and question number 6. But the form is always the same. So this has been blurred out already, so you don't need to fill it. So then we have national identity document. Do you have a national identity document? This is for Nigeria, yes, because we've been issued NIN, we've been issued national identity document, which allows you to fill this part. So select yes. Then document number, let's say 440000. So the document number, check your NIN slip, put the document number. Check your national identity document, put the document number there. Country or territory of issue, as for this tutorial Nigeria. Then issue date, now you can actually leave this. For Nigerians you can leave this, because if you look at the national identity documents, I don't think there is anything like issue date and expiring date. But if you have the plastic one or the latest one, if there is issue date and expiry date on it, you can put it there. But if you have the paper one, you can just put the document number and neglect the issue date and the expiry date. It doesn't have any effect. So then we have the USPR card. Are you a lawful permanent resident of the United States with a valid alien registration card? If yes, yes, and fill the details. If you don't have it, just click no and move on. Since I'm using a Nigerian citizen details to fill this form, you need to go with no if you don't have. But if you have a PR, a US PR, then it is compulsory for you to put the details here also. Now we move to PO Box, the current mailing address. Let's go with 24 apartment units. Let's say 3 street number 25 street name. You need to input your street name here. Kayode Williams Street, City Town, Lagos, Nigeria. Please note, if you are putting street number and apartment unit, it is very important that you don't put PO box here. Is either you are using the complete street number, street name, or you are using the PO box. So let me show you what I'm trying to say. So let's say I'm putting 506 as PO box here. Postal code, you can search for the postal code also. But it is not that important. As you can see, they don't have any asterisks there, so you can search for it if you know it. If you don't, you can just read. But most times the postal code of Nigeria is, most people put 23444 blah blah blah, but you can just search for it online. You will have something like 100, stuff like that, or 200, depending on where you live. So district, you can put the district also. But as you can see, this place, they are not that important. But for the case of those people that would like to fill the information there, you will always have something like 10054T and district Lagos or Ikeja, wherever your district is. And if you are from Oyo State, you should have something like 200 234 or 200 289, depending on where you stay. You can just Google it. You can just put your street name there to get the postal code and district. You can fill the district if you are from, or if you are from Oyo State, you can put Oyo, or if you are from Lagos, Ikeja, stuff like that. Just these are some things you can just Google online, search online. So we have our state here. The state has been blurred out already. Here. So now residential address, same as mailing address. If yes, if you are using the same address, yes. But if it is actually different, let's say this is your work address and your residential address is different from your work address, so you need to come back to residential address and input a different address here. But if you are currently using your residential address to receive your mail, then just go with yes. Now this is what I'm trying to explain. There will be a pop-up, a notification that there is a PO box in your mailing address. For residential address, please indicate an address without PO box. So if you are using your residential address, it is very important for you not to put PO box there. Is either you are going with the PO box or you are going with the complete residential address. So I need to click OK here, then remove the PO box. So yes, as you can see, the information has been accepted. Then we move on to the next part, the telephone. If you are in Canada, you use your Canadian telephone number. If not, other. So you need to indicate the type of number you are giving out. 234 08 000. So you need to fill the, then if you have any other number type, be it residence or cellular. Residence, let's say it's residence, so 234 01 2480161. So then fax, no, this is not important. Number 5, fax number is not important, you can let it be. Then email address, let's say I'm giving Mrs. Thomas Elizabeth at gmail.com. Make sure that this email address is valid and is accessible. You need to check the details before submitting. Then we have details of internet study in Canada. Why are you going to Canada? What do you plan to do in Canada? Have you been accepted into an institution in Canada? These questions are very, very, very important. So you start with name of schools. I have some list of schools here, and probably one day I'm going to drop you the list of schools. And to some people that have access to my mail, you can just send me a mail and I will send you the list of schools. So for this sake, I'm trying not to use a valid school, but then okay, let's see how it goes. Let me use one of the schools I have. So I'm going with this college. I'm going with Lethbridge College. You should know why. Yeah, I have access to this school, and it is very easy for me to secure their admission there. So this is one thing that is very secure. It's very easy for me. I have others. Almost all schools in Alberta, all colleges and all universities in Alberta and Ontario. Yeah, Alberta and Ontario. I've tried all schools there, so I know I know their requirements. I know what they require, so it is very easy for me to get their admission with ease. So let's go with Lethbridge College for today. My level of study will be college certificates, college diploma. My field of study will be, let's look for business or commerce. So province Alberta, AUB. So you get to know all this later. Alberta, ABMB, they have short Manitoba, Ontario, stuff like that, but for Alberta is AUB. Then city or town, Alberta Beach. That's for Lethbridge College. For Lethbridge College is Alberta Beach. And address. Now, to fill the details here, you need to check your admission letter. You get the address for the institution in your admission letter. It will be there. You need to fill the address here. I think I'm even doing some kind of advertisement for this school. They need to pay me for what I'm doing right now, but then I just think I need to make it look a kind of real, not as if we are just generating information. I want to make it be at least 50% real here. So the real address for Canada is, for Alberta is 300, I think 3,000 College Drive, South Lethbridge, T1K if I'm right, 1L6, yeah. Then something like AB, AB needs to be somewhere. AB, then Canada. Okay, I think AB, that is for Alberta. Then designated learning institution code number, the decision learning institution code, this will also be on your offer of acceptance. This will be on, not should, you can get it there. So just you can fill this one too. It's always something like 0000001. You can just input the right one there. Let's go with 05146. So you can even confirm this. If you don't know it, you can just type the name of your school. Just type it online. If you can't find it, it should be there, but if you can't find it, you can just easily, or if you don't have it handy, you can just type it online. The designated learning institution number for the name of your school. Put the name of your school there, you will see it online. Since it's not working, I think I'll be going with this. Let's see if it's going to work. Yeah, Oh, I guess it was not 0, so I've been putting 0 there, so it was not 0, so this should be. Then my student ID, search for your student ID. Let's just say 0678171. Then the duration of expected study, all this information should be in your letter of acceptance, so it should be there, so you can find it there. So let me go with 2023. Let's say 2023 May 2023. Let's just pick a date. Then depending on the duration of your study, so you need to put an end date here. So 2023, let me just pick 2024. 2024, let's say February 2024, any date. Then the cost of my studies will be, your tuition fee will be in your acceptance letter also. And so for Lethbridge, it's between the range of 13 to 15. So tuition fee, let's go with 14,000. Okay, $14,000. Then room and board, let's say 75 for this. Then other, let's say 5,000, depending on the amount you have with you, depending on the tuition fee required. So you just need to fill this. Just check your letter, then make your calculations to fill this part. Funds available for my stay. Now look at the tuition fee here. We have 14,000. Room and board, we have 775. We have 5,000. We have for tuition fee and another, we have 19,000. So you just need to make a total. I can just run this to 30,000. That is, let me put it at 35,000. Basically what I'm trying to explain here is you need to make the calculation of the tuition fee, room and board, order, and make sure that the funds available for your stay is more than the three together. When you calculate the tuition fee, the room and board, then order, just make sure that the funds you have is more than your tuition fee, is more than your room and board, is more than others. So my expenses in Canada will be paid by, if you are being sponsored by someone, probably others, your parents, just put the but. If you are sponsoring yourself, just click on myself. Then how we go to this part, if you are less than 17 years of age, you must fill out the custodian declaration form, that is the INM 5646. Now before I continue, let me just give you a view of what the form looks like. For the sake of children under the age of 17, probably you are filling it for your children, you are filling it for your child or your daughter. So let me just give you a view of what the form looks like. So basically this is how the form looks like, custodian declaration form. So there is a part where the student has to fill. We have family name, given name, citizenship, date of birth, name and address of schools. Okay, in case you are trying to download the form is called, there's always a code for it. It's called IMM 5646. IMM 5646. So you can just download it on their website, IAM 5646, and it is called custodianship declaration, and this is actually for minors studying in Canada. So we have the family name, given name, citizenship, date of birth, then name and address of schools in Canada. You fill this, address where students will reside in Canada. So there is a need for your child to have a guardian in Canada. It is very important. So you need to put the address where your child will stay in Canada, put it there. Then we have the parent or guidance information. We have the first parent or guidance, that is probably your mother. We have the second parent and guidance, that is probably your father, anyone. But if you're actually staying with a guardian, you need to put the information here. Then we need the custodian information. We have the custodian information here, who your child is going to stay with, that is, this person must be in Canada. This part, the first part, is for you, the parent, that is in Nigeria. Now we now have the second part, which is for the guardian, which is going to be in Canada. So we have two forms in a single file. So then you can just go through it, download the form and go through it. Then we have the notary. You need to get the notary for Now you are going to notarize this twice, one outside Canada and the other inside Canada. So you need to notarize this internationally, one in Nigeria, the other one outside Nigeria. So if you are currently outside Nigeria, probably you are in South Africa, you need to notarize it in South Africa. Then someone in Canada has to notarize it also, that is one for Canadian, that is the person that is staying in Canada, then the other for wherever country you are applying from. So I guess this is straightforward. So we can go back to the form. So now, so this is the form. So back to the previous form. So we have the education part. Now, have you had any post-secondary education? Include if yes, you need to put yes. But for minors, I think it's going to be no. For minors, someone that just finished secondary school, is going to be no, because you are yet to have any post-secondary education. But for married people and adults, so you need to pick yes. Then input your educational info here. Educational info, you need to put it here. Let's say she finished that 2003 to 2007 field of study. Let's put accounting. Then field and level study accounting school. Lagos State University. So city of town, Lagos, country Nigeria. Then you move on to employment details. If you've been employed, you move on with the latest. Now there is one advantage this form has over the latest form, that is the IRCC, the one I showed you earlier. Now in this form, the normally, okay, let me read it out. Give details of your employment for the past 10 years, including if you have held any government positions. Now this is the secret here. If you are using this form, there's one advantage. You can submit this form without giving them 10 years experience. What they're actually requesting for here is for the past 10 years what you've been doing, what you've done. So you need to give them details. It has to be complete 10 years. That is the procedure. But the advantage here is that you can fill, if you have only just 5 years experience, you can fill 5 years here. Now I know you might ask, what if I'm just 16 years old? What if I'm just 17 years old or 20 years old? How do you expect me to get 10 years experience? Now this is the advantage of using this form. If you are using this form, you can just input 5 years experience and you can submit your form without having any issue. But the new form, the latest form, it must be 10 years. It must be 10 years. They don't care how you want to do it. It must be 10 years. So that is why people love to use this form. It must be 10 years. You need to provide them with 10 years experience. With 10 years experience. So even if you have been at home, you have been unemployed for 10 years, you need to put it there that you have been unemployed for 10 years. But here, if you have just 2 years experience, probably if, let's say you are just 17, let's say you are 20 years old and you've only worked for 3 years, you can just put that 3 years experience here and you are good to go. You can submit this form. You can even put other info there. But the new form, you need to make sure that you are giving them something for 10 years. If you are unemployed for 10 years, you have to put 10 years there. So if you went to school for, like, let's say for 6 years and then you have been unemployed after that 6 years, you have to add it together that you are basically unemployed for 10 years. There is not any other sector for you to put your education, because you have inputted your education above already. So now this employment part, you just need to give them, they are expecting nothing less than 10 years. So on the new form, you can easily put you've been unemployed for 10 years. Or so that is why most people don't like to use the new form, because the new form has been shrink digitally. You can just put information. So once the information is not up to 10 years, you won't be able to continue. That's the problem most people have been facing. If it is not up to 10 years, the information is it will keep on rebouncing. It will keep on directing you back to the previous, that you need to complete it has to be 10 years. You can't avoid that. It has to be 10 years. Now it is now left to you what you want to put in that 10 years. Probably you've been unemployed, or you want to tell them that you've been working for 10 years. It is left to you, but it must be 10 years. So but for year, if you like, you can fill 5 years, you can fill 6 years. It is left to you and the immigration officer. But this is just the advantage. If you have other supporting document to back it up, yes, you can. So let's say she started working at, from, you need to put the recent year, so 2022 from let's say 2018 to 2022. Recent date, current activity, let's just say business owner, company, Thomas signature, city or town, Lagos. If you are a public servant, you can put it there also. I'm only using this to explain the part to you in Nigeria. Just make sure you have all your work experience information handy, so you can just put it there. Then from, I've covered 4 years already here. I've covered 4 years already here, so I'm trying to split all the information. Then let's continue from 2018 05, no, 2018 005. So let's see, she worked from let's say she worked from 2016 then to 2018. So then this, let's find another occupation. Let's see, 20 from 2010 to 2015. So all the information has been covered, and if you look at, I'm going to fill the occupation later, but if you look at this, if you look at the employment details from, she started, let's say she started working from 2015. Now if you look at 2015, we are going to calculate it, that's 2022, which is the current year, minus 2015. So we have like 7 years. So you need to complete it. It is mandatory on the new form that it covers 10 years, but if you should cover 7 years here and you have document to support it, you won't have issue. So if your age doesn't warrant you to have a complete 10 years, just you can fill it this way and put all the previous places you've worked. So let's just fill this for the sake of this tutorial. Let's just continue with this. So handle gas, no, it's going to be your handle gas. Let's say secretary, Port Harcourt, Nigeria. So MTN, let me use another one. Let me use A and M Motors. But why do I keep putting it there? A and M Motors. So occupation manager. So let's use Ogun, Nigeria. So you've completed this part, you've completed the employment part. So we have, she has worked as a secretary, a manager, and right now she's currently the owner of Thomas Signature. So you need to make sure that all your employment details are here. So we can move to the next one. We have background information. Within the past 2 years, have you or a family member ever had tuberculosis of the lungs or been in close contact with a person with tuberculosis? No. Basically, all this session from all this background information, basically all the answers to it are no. I won't deceive you, are no. But you need to read through it. So if there is a particular part, for example, within the past 2 years, have you or your family member ever had tuberculosis of the lungs? Then you need to select yes. So you will be the one to give them the reason. You need to give them the reason. But most times when you look at it, when you read through it, you discover that most of these answers are no. Just like US also, you get to a part where they start asking you questions. Have you ever get involved in fraud? Have you ever get involved in rebellion, stuff like that? And once you know yourself, you just continue to select no. But it is important that you read through it. It is important that you read through all these questions. So in order not to waste our time, now there is a part here where you need to read carefully. Now this part, this number 2, have you ever remained beyond the validity of your status, attended school without authorization, or worked without authorization in Canada? If you have done this, you need to pick yes. But this applies to some people. The part B, have you ever been refused a visa or permit, denied entry or ordered to leave Canada or any other country or territory? Now this part applies to some people. For some people, probably they've previously been denied application, or they were being banned out of Canada for one thing or the other. So you need to check this part and select the right answer. So in order, for the sake of this tutorial and for the sake of the person I'm using, I assume that she's a fresh applicant that hasn't filled this form. So I'm going with no. I'm going with no. Have you ever committed, been arrested for, or been charged with, or convicted of any crime offense in any country or territory? I'm going with no. Did you serve in any military or civil defense unit? No, she hasn't. So have you ever witnessed or participated in the treatment of prisoners or civilians? No. Have you ever been a member or associated with any political party? No. Because of our time, I'm actually selecting no, but it is important that you read through everything. I'm begging you, it is important that you read through everything. Just read through it before selecting the right answer. So this is the last part of the form. Do you consent to be contacted by CIC or an organization at CIC to request in the future? Yes, I'm going with yes. So that they can you can get information in mail if there's any updates on your application. Now this, you are going to sign this electronically, or you sign this by printing out this form. You can sign this by printing out this form, appending your signature and uploading it to the portal. But I advise that because at the end of this form you are going to sign it electronically. So it is not that important that you sign here. You can do it if you wish to. If you can sign with this PDF, if you can sign with Acrobat Reader, if you know how to sign with it, you can do it. But if you don't know how to do it, then you need to print this form out, sign, scan and upload, which is a kind of tedious task. But it is advisable that you get this Adobe Acrobat just for you to sign it electronically. But then if you can't sign it electronically, it is not mandatory here, because at the end of this form you are still going to sign the form with your name. So you need to put the date here. So then we continue. Now this is the last part. You need to validate. This is the last part where you validate to confirm that the informations you've inputted are right. Now once you click validate, it's going to generate a code for you, like 1 2 3 4 5, I think like 5 to 6 code once you validate. And the purpose of this validation, we confirm if you have inputted the right information. If not, this there will be a kind of highlight that will inform you that no, you are here to fill some forms. So that is why validating your document is important, as it's going to generate a barcode for you. As you can see, any errors will be identified with a pop-up message and marked red. If the application is successfully validated, barcodes will be generated. If it is not successfully validated, you won't get a barcode, but if it was, you get a barcode. So let's confirm that if you have actually inputted the right information. Okay, now the following field must contain a value. Now let's go to education. As you can see here, we are missing some parts in education. Let's go to education. We need to fill it. Education. Okay, from 2007. I didn't put a month here, so let's say 5. Then you can go back to validate to confirm if you don't have any other errors. Okay, validation has been completed successfully. Now you can, once you need to click OK, scroll down. The barcode has been generated. The barcode has been generated, so you have the barcode. Then you are done with this form. So you need to save. Don't forget to save this form. Once you save this form, then for another day I will be talking about the family information. We have like 3 forms. Apart from this, we still have like additional forms you have to fill. We have additional forms that you have to fill. There are additional forms which you have to fill. Apart from this, we have the custodian parents. If you actually I've talked about this, if you are actually filling this form for a minor, you have to fill this. And we have another one, the family information. Then apart from this family information, we have another form which is the traveling experience. That is basically for the traveling experience, if you have traveled before, so you have to fill that one too. So we have different forms, but for the sake of this tutorial, we are talking on this particular one, the student form, the application for study permits made outside of Canada. So for let's see, in the next few days we'll be talking about the additional forms, but for today this is basically how to file an application for study permit in Canada. And if you are facing any difficulties or you need additional information regarding this particular form, you can drop your questions on the comment section, and you can also send me a mail. I will check it out and reply to your mail and messages. So in the next tutorial we'll be looking at the additional forms, or we should look at the latest form, that one is very easy. We should look at the latest form. So you can just speak out, you can let me know your mind, the forms you like us to talk about. Till I see you, remember to do it yourself. DIY.